Hey, Shalom. All praises to you, How Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakodashe. Much mercy to you, brothers, to you true brothers out there that understand this new covenant, that actually have the testimony of the new covenant. And before I finish Acts 8, I just want to say this. You brothers got to separate yourself from these carnal men of the new covenant. As much as brothers are separating from these guys in these camps, you got to come away from guys that are in the flesh. You know, these guys that are talking about women or the news or anything that don't have nothing to do with Yahweh Shai like that. You have to leave guys alone because a lot of guys are set up in this time in opposition against the new covenant. You have to separate yourself. So I'm just giving a warning that it's a lot of guys that's say they're teaching the new covenant, but they don't have the doctrine of it. They're teaching women. You see, it's heavy. It's very heavy in this time. So you have to separate from guys like that. And the only ones that these type of guys, these false prophets of the new covenant or false brethren, the only ones they're attracting is guys like them. So it's just a warning. I did the video the other day. A lot of guys, they don't have the wedding garments. And I think the brother left this scripture on the comment board. I'm gonna read it right here. But the new covenant is attracting all types of motherfuckers, man. And you just have to, you have to beware and avoid guys that are in the flesh that are going into women. The new covenant doctrine is not about women. Paul specifically tells you that women is to keep silent in the church. It is not permitted for her to speak. But you got these reprobates in the new covenant. And I'm going to say, I'm going to have to speak on it. I have to. You see what I'm saying? Because you have a lot of guys crept in unaware. They crept in unaware. What they're unaware of is that they're not really of God. And they're stepping into something that really don't concern them. And by the doctrine that they're teaching, the Lord didn't teach women. And Paul and them weren't teaching women. Even I've read, we went over in Acts, that even Paul was against the worship of Diana. So what you have going on is Satan's last attempt to attack the new covenant. And this is a part of the prosecution of the new covenant. Guys say they're teaching it, but they don't have the doctrine of it. They're just teaching some wayward shit. Women, the topic of women, that's not spiritual. That's of the flesh. So guys are of the flesh. And you have to separate yourself, man. Don't be caught up with guys that's in the flesh, man, just because you may think he's cool and shit. It's not like that, bro. You have to separate from these guys, bro. You can't have guys all in your fucking feeds that's speaking about women and shit, bro, trying to draw brothers to the flesh. Because what Satan is trying to do is take your mind off of the spiritual part of the new covenant and put you in the flesh. So you can have your mind stirred away. There's so many distractions in these last days. So this is just a warning. I know you brothers that's in the spirit, you see what's happening, but it's a lot of brothers that's just learning. And I just want you to understand, the brothers that listen to us over here, we don't teach nothing but the Lord, because we have the testimony over here. And a lot of guys know we have it. And they're set up against it, but it's so fucking weak, man. It's crazy. They get all these weak guys to be against the new covenant. Everybody's weak as hell. And they don't know what arena they're really stepping into. But over here, we're set for the defense of the gospel, like Paul said. And any man that's not really teaching the gospel, that's teaching something else, Paul said, let that man be accursed. And he said that twice in Galatians, the 1st chapter. The new covenant is based off the testimony of Yahweh Shai. That's it. And if any man's teaching anything else, he's telling you he's in the flesh. That's what he's telling you. That's what he's telling you. A lot of you pussy begging ass guys and you fucking pussy whipped ass guys, you probably don't even get no fucking women. That's why you teaching about them. On some real shit, because the new covenant ain't about women. That's why we're breaking down Acts. And I'm gonna have to say this again, because I see certain guys think that certain guys are cool because they're teaching about women. They're teaching about the flesh. And this ain't about you just being cool with everybody that say they're teaching the new covenant. A lot of guys are not of the new covenant like that. A lot of guys are set up against it. But the brothers that actually have the Lord in them, you're going to be able to see that. All right? Because a lot of guys really don't have the testimony of Yahushua. They're just copying what we're teaching. But that's fine and all. But you brothers that's learning and understanding the new covenant, it's not about women. It's not about nothing about women. All you fucking worldly motherfuckers, bro. You crept in unaware. Because what due to your doctrine, we could tell that everybody's not of God. And if you're learning and growing and you're sincere, we can see that too. But you have these carnal motherfuckers of the new covenant. That's a lot of guys. Over half of guys that's teaching the new covenant, they're not of it, man. They're just teaching whatever the fuck they want to teach. Guys is teaching about Hitler and all types of shit of the world. The news is of the world. The news is newscast, and I went into that yesterday. The new covenant ain't about the news. The new covenant is strictly about the Lord. So all you motherfuckers that say you're teaching the Lord and you're teaching everything else, you're not of the Lord. All right? And that's according to Matthew 15. A man speaks what's on his heart. So a lot of you guys can't get your head out of fucking women, bro. This, what we're speaking over here is way more serious than you talking about some fucking women. And I have to speak like that because it's like you got guys trying to teach the new covenant that's really not of it. This new wine, they're really not a part of this new wine like that. Guys are spilling. The bottles are bursting because guys don't have the doctrine of the new covenant. They don't have the testimony like that. You see what I'm saying? So these demons is hopping out of guys and they're showing you what they're about. Matthew 13, and I had to speak on it, man. I did. I know, like, I shouldn't probably be worried about it because the only ones that guys are drawing unto them is guys that's actually in the fucking flesh. And I say that to say this because you see these guys on certain guys' feeds. And if you're hearkening to guys that's in the flesh, then what's that say about you? The new covenant ain't about women. It ain't about, and it's crazy because ever since we spoke on it, it's like guys keep doing videos on women now. All you carnal, demonic ass guys in these last days that are set up against the new covenant. Also, the prosecution of the new covenant, it has to do with that too. Guys are bringing other shit that the apostles and the Lord didn't teach. They're trying to bring that into the new covenant. They don't have shit to do with it. But like the Lord told Peter, the gates of hell shall not prevail. So you guys that's of the world, we can see that you're of the world. And we're warning the flock that the new covenant is not about women. Paul said, let your woman keep silence in the church. It is not permitted for her to speak. So you got women speaking all in their videos. It's crazy. You guys are of the fucking world, man. All you fucking guys are in the world. I don't want no parts of it. I don't want no parts of none of you carnal motherfuckers. The Lord is against you guys. You're fighting a losing battle. I tell you that. You're fighting a losing battle. Right off back, you're losing because what that says for a lot of you guys that have to speak about women, that you're in the fucking flesh. That's what it says. And you're no better than these fucking camps. Guys say they teach the new covenant, but do not have the testimony of it. It's heavy. Let me read this. Matthew 13:47. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that is cast into the sea and gather of every kind. And this new covenant is drawing all types of motherfuckers to it. You got to understand this. That's what's happening right now. I mean, that's what it is. We're at the end of the world. You got so many demonic motherfuckers that have crept into this new covenant, not fully understanding that the whole doctrine is of the Lord. So by that one point right there, guys are exposing them goddamn self. You see what I'm saying? Out of a person's mouth, you could tell where his heart's at. Guys' hearts is on these fucking women, and the majority of these demonic ass women, they ain't gonna make it, bro. This ain't about women. You fucking pussy begging ass fucking guys out there, man. A lot of you guys are losers, man, on some real shit. You don't know what it is to be a soldier for the Lord like that. lot of you guys, bro. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. You guys though, keep teaching what you're teaching, because that shows that you're of the world. That's all it shows. And we're warning brothers that really are of the Lord and that's learning the new covenant, that the new covenant don't have shit to do with you guys teaching women. Because the apostles in Acts, they didn't do that. The Lord, he didn't do that. So you guys are of the world teaching that shit. All right. So this doctrine, the new covenant, right, is gathering all types of guys that are actually against it. This is part of the prosecution too. All right. This is part of the prosecution too. And I had to speak on it. I had to speak on it before I go into this lesson. Because the prosecution ain't just these camps. It is guys that are actually still in the spirit of the world that's trying to act like they're teaching the new covenant, but they're still of the world. So you have to watch out for this too. You see? That's why the Lord called us the overseers in Acts 18. Take heed to yourselves, you being overseers. Why? Because we have the testimony. A lot of guys know that, and a lot of guys are set up against us. There's nothing really you could do about the new covenant being taught in this correct way. All you reprobates, whatever you guys start teaching, it's like you really didn't do your homework. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Because the gates of hell shall not prevail against the Lord's testimony and his truth. And the only ones guys are attracting is guys of the world. So you guys putting these guys in your feeds like they're of the new covenant, man. You better question yourself. Question yourself and ask yourself, like, what the fuck am I doing? You see these guys, right? Shh. This is a warning, bro. All types of motherfuckers that say they're teaching the new covenant. You have to be able to discern, bro. Matthew 13:48, which when it was full, they drew near to the shore and sat down and gathered the goods into vessels, but cast the bad away. But cast the bad away. You have to be able to see what spirit guys are in, bro, and cast their ass off. For real. Not put them on your fucking feed, bro. On some real shit. And I'm saying this out of love. But a lot of guys, they can't be corrected. And the guys that can't be corrected, you're the fucking world. All right? The new covenant is not about women. All you carnal motherfuckers. You're carnal, man. You don't have the testimony. If you had the testimony, you'll understand how serious it is for you to teach the Lord. When I read in Acts 6, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to read this, and I'm going to get on with my lesson. When you read in Acts 6, the reason they gnashed on their teeth at Stephen and at Paul and at the Lord, right, is because they were actually cutting the wicked with the doctrine they were speaking of Yahushua. Now, a lot of you guys, right, you crept in unaware because what your doctrine, it is not, they don't got nobody gnashing. What guys are doing is taking you to the flesh, just like these guys do when they teach the news and shit, and they teach all these prophecies of the world. That's what guys are doing. They're keeping you in the flesh, bro, with women and the world and the news and shit like that. So just understand what Satan is trying to do. He's trying to pull you out of the spirit and put your mind on these fucking women when the majority of their ass ain't gonna make it. The women that's of God, they're keeping quiet and just believing. That's all they're doing. A lot of these women don't even believe in the truth. All you fucking reprobate guys. Matthew 13:48, which when it was full, they drew near to the shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world, which we're at. The angel shall come forth and sever the wicked from amongst the just, and sever the wicked from amongst the just. So all you carnal motherfuckers, you're being spotted out. Spotted by the flesh. Garment spotted by the flesh. That's you guys. All you crept in unaware guys. You're carnal, man. You're carnal. A lot of guys in the new covenant, they're just carnal, man. Guys are of the fucking world teaching that shit. Guys, you have not, that's what I'm saying. It's like, guys are teaching, they're teaching things they don't fully understand. So because guys don't fully understand the new covenant, they think it's okay to speak about women. Well, guys are not a part of the new covenant speaking about women like that. You're the flesh. Yahweh Shai is where the spirit is. That's why Paul had to write them letters. Your woman is to keep silent in the church. It's not permitted for her to speak. But these guys got these women speaking to them. It's heavy, bro. It's heavy, bro. So just a warning. If you're hearkening the guys that's in the flesh, then you might have to reevaluate who the fuck you are, bro. It's real shit. So that's what's happening. What's happening is a division, man. We have to make sure we're watching out for guys that's of the fucking world. They say they're teaching the new covenant that really don't have the testimony. It says, so shall it be, it says, and shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Right. So not just for these camps that this is their last go around. A lot of you evil motherfuckers that had the blood of the prophets on you. For you guys that are of the new covenant, this is like your last attempt. Because you're against what's being taught. That's part of the prosecution too. Everything that's against Yahweh Shai. And this is what Paul said real quick. Yeah, everything that exalts itself against the Lord in these days, the Lord is using us to chop it down. These camps are already through. They've been brothers are saying that, yeah, they're teaching the Bible without you even being in the Lord. That shit heavy, what these camps are doing. And so certain of you guys are the new covenant. Something has happened with you guys where somebody got you teaching the flesh, or you're just of the flesh. A lot of guys are set up to teach the flesh to keep you out of the spirit. But it's nothing you can do to the elect. The elect see you, that you're of the flesh. Because the elect understand that Paul and the Lord and all the apostles in the new covenant, they didn't teach women at all like that. All you carnal motherfuckers. 2 Corinthians 10:3. For we walk, it says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. For the weapons of our warfare is not carnal. Right, so guys say they're teaching a new covenant and they're teaching carnal shit. So guys are carnal. Our weapons is not carnal. Our weapons is what? The spirit of the Lord and the new covenant. This is what Paul is saying. So all you guys that's of the flesh and you're using a woman and you're using this shit of the world, you're carnal, man. You're of the world. You got that garment that's spotted by the flesh. You crept in unaware. That's why that king said, how the fuck this guy come in here and he didn't have a wedding garment on? That's you guys. That's of the world. You're not in the spirit. You're not in the spirit. A lot of you guys have never been in the spirit. You just been some haters your whole fucking life. For real. A lot of you guys are just haters, bro. You haters of the Lord. You haters of what's good. But it is nothing you're going to do. The gates of hell shall not prevail in this last day. The Lord is with us, progressing the new covenant and teaching the testimony of the Lord. All you carnal motherfuckers, you're going to fade away. 2 Corinthians 10:4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to pulling down the strongholds. But mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. And what's heavy is that guys know that women are a stumbling block, but then guys will teach women instead of the Lord. That shows guys that they don't have no discernment and they're not of God, bro. It says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of power. Right. So if you're teaching women, then you're against the knowledge of the power. Even the women that's really women of the Lord that believe, they even understand that the apostles didn't teach women. It's heavy. You guys trying to exalt women, that's not the doctrine of the new covenant. That's your own shit. That's your own shit. It's just vexing, man. It really is. Vexed with the filthy conversation. That's what we are, man. We're vexed by a lot of you fucking guys that are of the world, that's not even spiritual. You're just carnal. You're carnal as hell. You're not of God teaching that shit. And that's, you know why? Let me read what the Lord said again in Matthew 15. Yeah, this new covenant is gathering the good and the bad. You have to cast the bad away. Cast the bad away. Cast the bad away. That means don't have him near you or around you. This is just a warning, man. You have to be able to discern about what the fuck guys is talking about. And this is a lot of you guys in the new covenant. Over half of you guys in the new covenant ain't right. Ain't right, man. You're not. What I mean by that is you don't really have the testimony. There's only so far you can go until something comes up to where we see that guys are of the flesh. And here it is again. Once you're spotted that you're of the flesh, you're of the flesh. We see you. And then that's it. Teaching women and shit is heavy. Matthew 15:8. This people draw nigh unto me with their mouth and honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. That goes for guys in these camps, and it goes for you guys that's of the new covenant. You're of the world. You see, you're of the world like a motherfucker. Your spirit is of the world. You are of the world. Your doctrine is of the world. Women, they're of the world. Guys' hearts is far from the Lord. Guys' hearts is with women. That's where guys' hearts is. That's all they thinking about. You ain't gonna get no fucking women. You ain't gonna get shit. You carnal motherfuckers, man. Teaching brothers about women. What's so important about that? The fuck out of here. It says, but in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines and the commandments of men. That's what the camps teach. Isaiah 4:1. And then you see guys, they're doing this shit on purpose. Guys, last couple of videos is about women, but say they're teaching new covenant. The new covenant is not about women. The new covenant is not about women. All you fucking guys that have fell to the flesh, you let these women fuck your fucking mind up. See, that shows it too, that guys are of the flesh, because the doctrine that they can't control themselves. They have to teach women. They have to use this platform to try to put women out there. It's heavy. You fucking demons, man. And I mean it too. Because guys, they watch our videos and shit, and they know what the doctrine is. They know that the apostles didn't teach women. They know that shit. But I just had to bring this out because you have to cast the bad away. All types of guys say they're teaching new covenant, but the way to tell a person is by their doctrine. So if they don't really have the doctrine of the testimony of the Lord, they're of the world, man. They're trying to like creep in and do some demonic shit. And the only ones they're going to drag out with them is guys that's just like they ass. That's not of God. Just like these camps, the majority of guys that's being gathered in these camps is carnal motherfuckers. That's brute beasts. That's who you're gathering. Thousands are being gathered to the tares. It says, but in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines and the commandments of men. Guys are teaching for doctrines of men. Not the doctrine of Yahweh Shai, but the doctrine of men. It says, and he called to the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand, it's not that which go into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man. Then came his disciples and said unto him, thou knowest that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying. Right, we know a lot of you guys are offended because you're not really of God, bro. On some real shit. And we're set up for the defense of the gospel. The gospel don't have shit to do with women. That's the truth. And if you say otherwise and you're teaching otherwise, you're the fucking world, according to the scriptures. We already know a lot of you guys are of the world anyway. We already know it. We're just letting certain brothers know to separate yourself from guys that say they're teaching new covenant, or you're just like they ass too. On some real shit, man. It says, then came his disciples. Right, so what's coming out of guys' mouth? Let me read that again. The Lord said, hear and understand. Matthew 15:11. Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man. So guys going into women right now, when the new covenant is totally spiritual, that means they're of the world, bro. They're of the world, man. They like to be seen and, all this carnal shit, guys. It's heavy. It's crazy. They're of the world just like these groups. Guys creeping into this, not really having an understanding because they're not of God anyway. They see it and they just, you can't come in here add and take, you can't add nothing to it or take away from it. They was not teaching women. Like I say, even Paul was against the worship of Diana. So that should show you something. Guys have no understanding. So guys that are in the flesh, guys that bring that doctrine of the woman, guys are in the flesh, bro. That mean they worship women. Do that shit on your own time. That don't have nothing to do with the new covenant. Guys that's teaching women in the new covenant, they're of the world. They're of the world. And it's heavy because the Lord said it's not which that's going to the mouth, was going to the mouth defile a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth. All right? This defileth a man. Then his disciples came unto him. Knowest thou that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying? But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up. You see that? So if the Lord really didn't plant you, we could tell by your fucking doctrine and what you're saying. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. Right, you're leading a lot of guys that's blind just like your ass. And if the blind lead the blind, they both shall end up in the ditch. It's so much to teach of the Lord, to break the Lord down. Like, you don't have to go into women. It's just that guys, they don't have the testimony. That's why guys go into everything else. Do you understand why guys teach women? Why guys teach the world and the news and all that? Because they don't have the testimony, bro. The testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy, not the shit of the world. When the Lord came, when the Lord came, and the Lord took Peter, James, and John on that mountain, and when the transfiguration appeared, and Elijah's and Moses and Elijah's disappeared, and the Lord was still standing there, that was letting you know that the whole doctrine now is of Yahushua now, explaining him. And so we're explaining him, letting you know that the Lord didn't speak about women like that, bro. Women were being healed, and that was it. The kingdom of heaven is within us. And we have the Lord's testimony within us. Part of the Lord's testimony is not speaking of women. Guys that are in that spirit, they're of the world. All right? They can't control themselves. A lot of you guys are fucking pussy beggars and pussy whip motherfuckers. And like I say, the real women that's of the Lord, they know the Lord didn't speak of no fucking women. Even they looking at your ass like all these worldly fucking guys, man, in these last days. This is part of the prosecution too, bro. We have to suffer all this shit. These camps are against the new covenant. Guys in the new covenant against the new covenant. It's heavy. It is heavy, bro. Ain't no amount of money in the world, well, to you carnal motherfuckers, that make you turn against the Lord and teach against the Lord. That's what you're doing. You're teaching against the Lord, bro. They didn't say certain phrases of women in the new covenant for you to glorify them like that, to put them on the pedestal. He didn't. They would say certain things and that was it, because the same thing that's happening now with guys trying to like teach women and make that like part of the Lord's doctrine or part of the new covenant, they was doing that back then. And Paul said that as your woman is to keep silent in the church. That's it. For these guys that are of the world, they got women in their videos, that's on you. That just means you're of the world. You're of the flesh. So you have to cast the bad away. So everything is about the Lord now. Matter of fact, let me read this real quick. Matthew 7:3. And behold, there appeared unto them Moses, Elijah, and talking to them. Then answered Peter and said, Yahushua, Lord, is it good for us to be here? If thou wilt, let us here 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah. And while yet he spake, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud said, This is my beloved Son, whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their feet, and they were so afraid. Then Yahushua touched them and said, Arise and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man but Yahushua only. And check this out, showing you that this ain't really for everybody to understand. And they came down from the mountain, and Yahushua charged them, saying, Tell the vision to no man, and to the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. So now we're telling that vision. And guys that's not really telling that vision and speaking the Lord like that, you can't have nothing to do with these guys, because they're teaching another gospel. Yeah, the order is the Lord, his Son, and then man, and then woman. Yeah, that's the order. But it's not for you to be glorifying women and say you teach a new covenant. That's why all you guys that have this woman spirit on you, you're of the world, man. All you guys that's teaching the news, you it's not just about Yahushua with you guys. You guys are the world. So this kingdom of heaven, the new covenant, it is gathering all types of guys in these last days. You have to cast the bad away. And I'm gonna have to speak on I'm gonna have to go into Acts 8 a little bit later, but I have to get these lessons out in between. Because you have to separate yourself from guys that don't have the doctrine of Yahushua. Matter of fact, let me read that in Galatians real quick. Galatians 1 and 8. So the new covenant consists of the testimony of Yahushua, not the testimony of women. The new covenant is about the testimony of Yahushua, not the testimony of women. Galatians 1 and 8. But though we or an angel from heaven preach another gospel unto you that we have preached unto you, let him be accursed. Women was not a factor in the gospels. The Lord did not teach about women. And as we said before, so I say again, if any man preach another gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed. For do I now persuade men or God, or do I seek to please men? We're not in this to gain people to like us and shit. We're not in this for that, bro. All you worldly motherfuckers. And you certain brothers putting these guys on your feeds, they're showing you that they're of the world. So where you stand at? And I have to say it like that, bro. Because if you're promoting guys that's of the flesh, then what's that saying to you? On some real shit, man. It should just make you upset, because it's like we're giving you the gospel, and we're teaching you the real gospel. And you got these guys say that they're part of the new covenant and they're teaching women. It's heavy. It is heavy, bro. And I don't give a fuck about being hated, because a lot of you guys are not even of God, bro. You guys are fucking holding a mask up. And a lot of guys know where we stand at. That's why a lot of guys hate us, because we know who we are. A lot of you guys, you're not sure. But I tell you one thing, the new covenant doctrine don't have shit to do with women. So all you guys that are of the flesh, you don't have shit to do with the new covenant, man. You're just a part of the fucking world, crept in unaware. And you know what, man? I'm gonna end it right there, man. You have to cast the bad away, because the new covenant is drawing all types of guys. And the majority of you guys teaching, you're not even of it, because you don't have the testimony. How this guy come in here without a garment? That's a lot of you guys. Let me get out of here, man. I'll speak to you true brothers later, man. Repent and separate yourself, man. You have to. Hey, with that, shalom.